Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. It's a terrible time for games. I hear this phrase a lot, and not just recently. I've always heard this. I've heard this since I was a kid, when I first got in the industry, when I went back into the industry, throughout my time in the industry, and I'm hearing it now. I'm hearing it's a bad time for gamers. I'm hearing it's a bad time for game developers. Bad, 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 bad. I hear this all the time. I've said before, I think this is a pretty good time for games. And I understand. There's always something you can point at and go, what about this? You're right. There's never been a good time. If you require everything to be perfect, there will never be a good time. I know layoffs, the tech sector, things going digital. I'll get into all that. I'm just saying, if you wait for everything to be perfect and there not to be a single problem, a single issue that would cause you to want to play games or to be a game developer, you're going to be waiting a long time. It's never happened. Let me talk to you about some of the things I used to hear. And this is over the space of the last 43 years. So, I've heard business arguments for why either it's a bad time for the game industry or a bad time to get in the game industry or just games are bad. Arcades were huge when I was a teenager. Our local mall had an arcade called Time Out. It's always packed with kids. Those closed down, and everyone said it's the end of the industry. I had an Atari VCS console. Tons of really cool games for it. Then Atari started putting out a lot of junk. You've probably heard the scary tales about the E.T., the extraterrestrial game that got plowed over in a dump, or the horrible Superman cartridge game. Well, the entire console market collapsed, and people were like, "That's it, it's dead." Yeah, guess what? Guess what we got out of that? Nintendo, a whole new wave of really cool consoles. Now, with everything going online and games being mostly digital, people are going to be crying, "Oh my God, it's the end of the game industry." After decades of this, you can only just go, okay, whatever. It's just the new latest Chicken Little thing. I also got a lot of personal arguments about why I shouldn't become a game developer. And these are things that are not about the industry. These were about me. A lot of my teachers and fellow students in grad school told me not to go into games. They told me it was beneath me, that I was wasting my master's degree. I was actually working on my PhD. And I had my thesis advisor go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're going to walk away from this." I had a lot of people, friends more did this than the teachers and students, tell me I was getting in too late. "Oh, the game industry's already peaked. Richard Garriott is going to be the last game developer millionaire." I mean, okay. This would have been, the late 80s, early 90s. People actually said that, and they believed it. And then once I got into the industry, it doesn't stop. You might think, okay, you're now a game developer. It's not going to end. No. Once you get into the industry, the bad, negative, pessimistic advice just keeps coming at you. I was told, don't make RPGs. They are a dead genre. Look at adventure games. They're dead. No one makes these anymore. You better not get yourself tied into this genre because it's going to be dead. Everything's going to be multiplayer online MMORPGs. Well, that didn't happen. There are new genres. The MMORPGs came out, but RPGs still get made. Single-player RPGs still get made, and they do well. I was told, don't make PC games. PC games are dead. By the way, this has happened multiple times, but people are emphatic about it. Sometimes it's other game developers, sometimes it's marketing people, sometimes it's publishers. They all tell you how PC games are dead. It's all console and mobile now. It's dead. Yeah, it's been dying now for 20 years and it's still around. So, okay, it's not dead. I was told repeatedly, and recently not to make a turn-based game. No one wants to play a turn-based game. It's niche. Everybody wants action. Then BG3 came out. And those people were like, I heard it's the exception that proves the rule. It's a fluke. I would love to have a multi-million unit selling fluke. So basically, don't listen to these people. It's always been a bad time to get into game development or to make the games you want, or even to be a game player. It's always been bad. There have always been people saying it's bad. There always will be people saying it's bad. If I had listened to this advice back in the 80s or 90s, there would be no Fallout. I either wouldn't have gone in the industry at all, I wouldn't have left grad school, or I certainly wouldn't have made an RPG, certainly wouldn't have made a turn-based RPG, certainly wouldn't have made it on a PC. It's just, wow, how wrong could all of those people be? And it wasn't just a few people, it was a lot, all along at every stage. If I had listened to these people, there would be no Arcanum, because Fallout, even if Fallout was the fluke and people did like it, it reviewed well, it's a fluke. You better make it your next one real time, and kind of had to, half and half. But even more than no Arcanum, there wouldn't have been a Troika. The headwinds that we faced trying to make a new game development studio on the basis of look at Fallout and then look at Arcanum were strong. There was everyone, repeating, oh, you're PC, oh, it's RPG, oh, you made turn-based again, blah. So, all I want to tell you, if you've watched this far, this doesn't have to be a long video, don't listen to these arguments. And if you're making them, realize, I've heard this already. Everything you're going to say, everything, I've already heard. You can package it up in something new, like, well, look at the layoffs. Yeah, there have always been layoffs. I've watched whole companies go under. I've watched whole sub-industries die. I watched the console industry die out and then get reborn like a phoenix. So, been there, seen it. People are always going to play games. They're always going to want games. There's just going to be new kinds of jobs in new kinds of areas. Now, you can listen to these stories as a caution. I remember 2D artists really poo-pooed 3D art. And I was like, I think this is going to stay. Now there's far more 3D artists than 2D artists. And the 2D artists that exist are occasionally, you do get 2D art games, but a lot of them are now making textures for 3D art games. So you have to watch what's happening, but don't treat it as something that's going to prevent you from doing anything. Just treat it as an opportunity to do new things, to go in a new direction, to decide, oh, this is the direction we're going. I think that's true for AI. AI is going to replace some jobs. It's also going to create new jobs. You've heard about AI whisperers. It's also going to be like every other tool anyone has ever made. It doesn't let you make things faster, so to speak. Levels seem to take about the same amount of time to make as they did before, even though they have better tools. What it lets you do is make bigger levels. It lets you make better looking levels. Because even though the tools let you do things faster, now you're worried about lighting and shaders and a whole bunch of other, where water is and all these other things you didn't have to worry about early on. So take all these things as, okay, things are changing, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't go into the industry or shouldn't enjoy games or the entire game industry is going to die. It's not going to happen. Don't let that prevent you from doing what you want. So let me tell you, as an old guy, more people I know my age regret not doing things, not trying things, than trying them. Even the people who've tried and failed. I made my own game company, and then I had to shut it down, 7 years later. I do not regret that. I do not regret making Arcanum or Temple or Bloodlines. I like those games. I had fun making those games, and there are people who like those games. I'm just saying, my guess would right now, if I'd never tried making my own company, I'd be regretting it. So I don't have a whole lot of regrets. I've tried a bunch of different things, and I'm glad I did. So this is my encouragement to you. Don't let all the pessimists get you down. Things will change, but nothing is gone. Nothing is destroyed. It may pop up again in a new form. It may have its heyday and then go fallow for a while, and then boom, turn-based is back, baby. These are just things that are going to happen, and they're going to happen in any area you pick. Don't think you can go, I'll pick looter shooters, and they're going to be popular forever. I'll do MMORPGs. That will be popular forever. I'm going to code on PlayStation. That will be around forever and never change its code API. I'm going to learn how to rig 3D models, and that is never going to change, and I will never have to learn new software. all that's wrong. You're going to have to learn something new no matter what you do. So rather than listen to the pessimists, just do something. Get started. And just remember that when people tell you this is a terrible time for the game industry, for gamers, for game developers, for whoever, I've heard that for 40 years. Tired of hearing it. It's not true. So, hope you like this.